That's really what's kept our association so strong is the bar was set by the first guys. And then Dick Cosgrave come along and set it here, and it's never lowered. It's always been here. If you want to win, you got to get to this point. If you can't, you won't. Just what it is.
So, you know, in saying that, Cody, we hope you come back. I'll be looking forward to Cody coming back for sure. So, sponsorship is deadly important in the whole association from everything that I can see.
Running our whole association sponsorship is very important. General Motors has come on board for the last number of years.
Aren't they fantastic? Yeah.
Absolutely, and I'm very fortunate to have Penastar Group of Companies, Neil Brown and Gary Gerba in our corner. We don't make enough to sustain ourselves just with prize money. And people say, well, you know, we don't have enough people, but if you look per capita, we have a lot of people coming out, but we just don't have a lot of people in Canada. We got 35 million, so per capita, we probably outdraw NASCAR, but they got 350 million people to draw from. So when they get 100,000 out on a weekend, yeah, they got a lot of people, but per capita, no, they don't.
But you know, in saying that, on Saturday night when I was doing the radio, I looked out in the stands and you couldn't have fit a sandwich in there. I mean, the people that were seriously lined up wall to wall to watch just the wagons, which is super cool to be part of, to see that, right?
Well, it is. The Chuckwagon's always put on a really good show, but I'm going to switch here a little bit, and I'm really proud of our Chuckwagon for charity. I really am. The guys and the girls really step up to the special needs rodeo on Saturday morning, and we have always fielded just about every child in need here out of the Chuckwagons. There's other guys that should come over, but apparently they're too busy.
Yeah, and you should never be too busy, right?
You should never be too busy to lend a helping hand to a child, ever.
I agree, buddy. And you know, I know Rick and Sue personally, and I've spent lots of time with them, and we truly do fundraising events throughout the year of different kinds. And so one thing I know about Rick and Sue for sure is that they're very giving and they're the first ones at the Calgary Children's Hospital. You guys are always doing stuff for any child in need of any kind. They will take in the homeless and the unwanted and love the ever living to death out of them. They're amazing, amazing people. And so I'm really super proud of who you guys are as people. Not to mention, I think you're an amazing driver.
Well, you just treat people the way you want to be treated. If you're rude to people, well, that's what you're going to get back. You know, we all have our days. You know, we all do. There's nobody that doesn't. But it's just something that I think is the right thing. You treat somebody how you want to be treated.
And I think you and Sue are kind of the exception to the rule as far as Golden Hearts go, because I know the things that you do, and I know the things they've done with me. So it's great to see people like that in the sport. And so one of the greatest things that I loved this year that actually put me in tears was you took a wagon to Grand Prairie.
Oh, the Dad's wagon. Yeah, the Stampede committee up in Grand Prairie were looking for a wagon, and I phoned Phil Troyer, and I said, Phil, if you put this thing inside, you can have the wagon. So they took Dad's wagon and took all the paint off and redid it, and, you know, put a little sign on it. Troy Dorchester gave him a wagon box, and so it's pretty cool to have Dad's wagon there. And now it actually has a spot in the Grand Prairie Museum, which I'm really happy about. He won Calgary 2 times with that, and I can remember each time because I was lucky enough to ride for it.
I just think it's exceptionally cool. And Ponoka too, right?
Old Grandpa Tom's wagon sits up.
Tom Dorchester is Rick's grandpa, by the way.
It sits up behind the grandstand, up on a pole, and it's pretty cool to see that thing. You always see it when you turn to go back into race.
Yeah, and so I mean that's great, right? I mean everywhere you go, come to Ponoka, Grandpa's here. Now you're going to Grand Prairie, and your dad's up there with you, so you get little guardian angels wherever you go.
Yeah, well, I guess so, maybe.
So if you wanted to tell the viewers anything, what would you say?
Tell them anything.
Tell them anything about the sport that they maybe just don't know.
We take care of our horses, and we really take care of them. because you can't continually break track records if you're not taking care of your horses. We use the best farriers, we use the best dentists. And people, dentists? Yeah, horses need dentists. If you have a horse at home and you haven't had a dentist there in 5 years, shame on you, because that animal is in agony. We use chiropractors on them. The equine vets are just amazing now with the equipment and the knowledge, and with the internet, the knowledge is passed around from person to person so quickly. But they're just not like a tire. They're part of who we are. And when you have a good horse, they know you, and they really know you. They know you right inside your being. So it's a pretty cool way of life we get to live.
And I've been around your horse's thoughts, and so I know. I always tell, well, I just told even again Sue the other day, you could put me in a field of 1,000 horses that belong to 1,000 different people, and I can pick out Rick and Sue's because they're calm and they're gentle and they're loving, and you can see it in their eyes that they're really well looked after. And so it would be really easy for me to pick out your stock. So yeah, I think that's incredibly important that people look after their animals, and I know for a fact that those horses eat before you guys do.
Absolutely.
Right.
Everything comes before them. Everything.
Right. So they're your kids. They're
Well,
more
yeah.
than your kids.
Yeah. You know, the wagon drivers get to, we got our fat asses on the wagon seat. It's the horses that are the stars. They're the engine, they're the motors, they're the lifeblood.
What about your rock star wife that we brought coffee and donuts to this morning? She just amazes me every single day.
She does all right. Yeah. Yeah.
She does all right.
Yeah. She does a lot around here.
They're like the most loving, mushy couple you've ever seen. They're awesome people.
Yeah, she does a lot of work. She has her blog that she's very proud of, and I'm proud of her for what she's accomplished with that thing. It goes all over the world.
Absolutely.
And when Ron McLean recognized her on CBC last year for it, it was a real feather in her cap. I'm proud of her.
Yeah. So not only is she the blogger and the runner, it's just you guys are just beautiful people. And
Well,
I'm really glad I get to call you
I don't know.
friends.
I don't know about that. But
I do.
I know one thing.
I'm an advocate for it.
She works her ass off 7 days a week. Like I told her, I said, you got lots of time. You don't need, from 1 in the morning till 6 in the morning. You got time to do something else.
And she runs like 5 miles a day,
Yeah.
which just makes me tired thinking about it. But she works out into her schedule somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
Teamwork, family, absolutely everything that matters in the sport, without a doubt. Sponsorship is huge.
It's huge. And
anything. People think they have to come in with like $100,000 in sponsorship.
no.
Get a hold of the association and find out. There's all kinds of little things you can get involved in. And I can tell you, I've been in this with these guys now for 4 years. Starting off because I had the pleasure of meeting Rick and Sue, and we just kind of clicked. So I wanted in more and more. But as a sponsor, being involved in it, you will never have a regret spending a single dollar on anything that has anything to do with Chuckwagon racing, because it's such a big open arm family.
yeah, it's a really unique sport, and it's obviously to Western Canada, but we are to Western Canada what NASCAR is to the Southeast U.S.
Absolutely. That's why
And the cool part is, when I'm done racing, I can go back and I can give my horse a hug and thank you. But I don't know when Jeff Gordon gets out of his car and he's won
hugs his car.
Daytona 500 and he pats it on the fender if the car really knows what he's doing.
I would love to see
But-
that. Maybe we should make Jeff Gordon up here. I think. We should have a race off. Let's throw him in a Chuckwagon and really give him an adrenaline rush, because I think that's tires versus wheels are two totally different things.
Well, it was interesting. There was an engineering student out in High River, and he said my acceleration on my wagon outfit was double what his car was driving out to High River from Calgary. And I only have 4 horses hooked, and he has, I don't know, whatever, 150, 200 horses in his car, 300, I don't know what he drives. But it's quite different, and I'd love if Jeff Gordon come up here. I'd give him a ride anytime, anywhere.
We should challenge him, right? We'll teach him the difference between horsepower and torque.
Well,
Torque's how fast they hit the wall.
I'm not, yeah.
Horsepower's how fast your wagon's moving.
Well, I'm a huge Jeff Gordon fan. So,
Hey, Jeff Gordon, this is for you. I'm going to make sure that we hashtag you or get somebody to hashtag you. We challenge you to come up to Canada and come run with Rick Fraser in his wagon. If you want adrenaline, come up here. Come see how we play.
Jeff would look at this and say, my God, those guys are rednecks. They're hillbillies. I'm not going anywhere near them. They don't even know how to wear crash helmets. And wearing a helmet doesn't help. Because if you get run over, it isn't going to do nothing.
I remember watching you get to almost a bad wreck.
I've had a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of them things that happen.
And when they're, it's not only as bad when they're Chuckwagon drivers, when they're your friends, you kind of want to go through the TV because you're just worrying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he just shrugs it off like, it's all good, I'm all right.
We grew up in this. It's just like Troy and Dorchester and I, my cousin, we talked about this, how much fun it is when we give somebody a ride that's never been in it because we're immune to it. We've done it since, as soon as I was big enough to crawl in a wagon, I never asked if I could get in. I just got in. Whenever there's a wagon, you just, once it goes, you just crawl in the back. What are they going to throw you out when you're running? No. So we rode in every wagon that would move, and after a while we learned how to harness, and then our dads would slowly let us drive and let us out ride.
See, and I hope when you retire you write a book.
My life story is not interesting.
You're wrong. You were so wrong, my friend.
No, it isn't. There's way more. We've had some really colorful people come through this, and I think back, like my grandfather, Orville Strandquist, Ronnie Glass. Those guys were real characters. My dad was a fantastic driver and horseman, but he wasn't a character like those guys. Yeah. And my dad won the Calgary Stampede three times, and he done it every time when he was when he was physically handicapped. He only had one eye. So try catching a ball or turning your car around a corner with one eye. He had no depth perception. I asked him one time. I said, "Well, how do you know when to turn the lead team when you're going?" And his typical answer, he just shrugged his shoulders. He says, "I don't know. I just turn them." Yeah.
So he wasn't an instructor by any sense.
No, not really. He wasn't. He was he taught you other things in other ways. So he really taught me the foundation on how to get a horse to run at its optimum.
You know something I remember you saying to me 2 years ago? You control yourself first and your horse second.
Yeah.
And I think that was an amazing sentence of wisdom for anybody.
Well,
In any, whether it's Chuckwagon racing or just anything, period.
Yeah. Well, we have some big stories around the Chuckwagons this year. We have the first girl big Chuckwagon driver up in Grand Prairie. Her name is Riley, and she's doing well up there. She sent me a video last night
Nice.
of her last run in Rio Grande, and she kicked their ass.
Good girl.
Exactly. Oh yeah, yeah. She's a nice girl. And the second biggest story, I think, or probably the biggest story, is Cliff Cunningham coming back from life-threatening cancer, and he's here, not just competing, going around the track. He's running very well.
He is.
Like very, very well.
Yeah, I watched him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really proud of Cliff, how he's come back, and he's just flying under the radar. He's not saying, "Oh, look at me," but we damn well should be looking at him like this guy's a hero for people that are struggling with that disease.
He beat it.
Yeah.
And he's not
Absolutely.
only beating it, but he's
Yeah.
succeeding at beating it, which is even better.
Right.
So anyway, thanks for listening to us. You're gonna watch for Rick at the Calgary Stampede. He's gonna be there.
I'm proud to be a Canadian, and I'm proud to be free. I wish I were a puppy dog, and Mr. Trudeau was a tree.
And that's why we're friends.
You put that part on there.
I will.
Absolutely.
I love you, buddy. Stay safe in Calgary.
Yeah.